Welcome back to my unpopular opinion. I want to get straight into it about the Real Housewives of New Jersey and the last episode that they just released, which is kind of like their reunion, which it really wasn't a reunion. It is more of like a watch party that they had to separate the girls. Teresa's team versus, of course, Margaret, Miserable Marge, and her team. So I just want to give my opinion really quickly. I'm going to try to be brief with it because honestly, it was underwhelming. Nothing really happened that was interesting or explosive. They really could have kept it, and a lot of the comments I've seen on clips and videos and stuff like that are saying the same thing, that you guys could have actually just either kept this or did a real reunion. I do understand that some of these newer girls and girls, period, are weak, like Danielle being number one. She is one of the weakest housewives to ever come on New Jersey. I've been watching since the beginning, and she is just the worst. As far as dishing things and not being able to take it, not really understanding how the show works. And this isn't her first season, this is her second season. So people like her obviously can't handle a reunion because she gets upset and lashes out and gets violent and acts ghetto. So it's like she couldn't handle it. Obviously, Marge and her finally being exposed for a liar. She didn't want to do one because they were going to show more and more clips of her lying all the time in front of the rest of the girls that she lied on. Melissa, obviously, she was desperate for anything, but you can kind of sense that Melissa knows that she's done with the show. But the other girls, I felt like they had a better vibe. I feel like the show has gone downhill anyway. This season has been ruined. But in reality, I saw this coming years ago because whenever the girls, and I say this whenever I review any housewife show, whenever the girls do like an alliance and they try to make people pick a side too harshly the way that Margaret and Melissa have, it ruins the show. The same thing happened with Real Housewives of Atlanta, where Kenya and Candy created their alliance with Cynthia against people like Nene, Portia, and whomever else. And that alliance was prevailing because whenever you have an alliance, it's like, the alliance of the bad people, the villains to me, prevails because they're so consistent with their alliance, if that makes sense. And that ruined the Real Housewives of Atlanta, which called for the show to be shaken up and switched and this and that. And that happened because of that alliance. Same thing with Real Housewives of New Jersey. When Marge came on the scene, she had an agenda and she created an alliance, and it ruined the show. It drove Danielle off the show, which to me, Danielle was great for the show. And then it caused more division on the show, which the goal of the show is supposed to be like, yeah, you have conflicts, but you have to still have enough communication to be able to have conversations with the people you have conflicts with. Even if it's you guys reading each other back and forth, you're supposed to be able to do that. And when you create an alliance and make people choose sides, and then it becomes more and more toxic as the seasons go by, that becomes impossible to do, which is where Housewives of New Jersey is currently at. And I blame miserable white hair Margaret Josephs. That's who I blame. So let me just review whatever this is really quickly, and then I'll give more of my opinion on the season. On the cast, period. But I think that Danielle, like I said, ridiculous. The whole time she keeps talking about Jennifer, and now she has some made up issue with Teresa. She's just a follower. Danielle never had her own brain to begin with. She really, to me, does not have many brain cells that are actually working and functioning. That's why she has to resort to violence instead of using her words. I don't feel like Jennifer was 100% in the wrong for the situation with Danielle. I think she realized that Danielle does sneaky, weird things to staff and other people. And she was like, I'm just not feeling this girl. And so she exposed what Danielle was actually doing and how Danielle was actually treating people. And Danielle got upset, got in her face, which was very threatening. Jen, and calling her out her name, Jen pushed her and, like, get out of my face. And Danielle hit her. So, yeah, you push somebody, they're going to hit you back. But at the same time, you were initiating an altercation to begin with by getting in anyone's face. I'm not going to get in someone's face if I'm not prepared for an altercation to happen. Danielle was ready and willing to have that altercation. So I don't feel bad for her. Two, when her and Jen had the argument at the table and Danielle got up and tried to attack Jen the second time, she mentioned Jennifer's family, her husband, her crying, her this, her that. Jen said one line and you can't even use your words. You have to get up and try to assault somebody again. So Danielle, and she definitely should not be brought back for the following season. If any of this cast is brought back, she definitely can't handle the show. She's too weak-minded, and she doesn't have enough of a vocabulary to actually be on a show like this where violence is not at the forefront. This is not Mob Wives, okay? So that's how I feel about her. She was a waste of time. The whole time she kept mentioning Jen, looking disheveled and crazy. Good night, Danielle. Melissa looked desperate the entire time. And these pictures are not in any specific order. They might not correspond with what I'm saying at the moment because I really just wanted to throw this video together. So just know that these pictures are not corresponding with what I'm saying. But Melissa was desperate the entire conversation. I think that she just wants to please her master, who is her master, Margaret. And I think Melissa keeps talking like she knows that her time on the show is done. Her and her husband, little Joey, had no storyline this entire season, especially since Teresa and Louis decided that they were not going to participate in any more interactions with those people. That just put the nail in the coffin for the Gorgas. Like, without no Teresa, there's no storyline. You guys have been making Teresa the villain all these years. And without her, you have nothing to talk about. You have nothing going on. You're not interesting. So she was just grasping for straws the entire time. The same way she was at Rails, the last episode, or the episode before this last one. And she just couldn't wait to say something to Teresa when Teresa was actually trying to break the girls up. And here comes Melissa. Oh, you're the queen of this shit. It's like you couldn't wait to say something. You just couldn't. That was her last chance to actually have a moment to try to save her her moment on the show. And she's just not going to be able to do it. If they bring her back, that's really stupid and ridiculous. But I don't think they will be bringing her back. You know, who else was there? Whoville knows Dr. Seuss. Rachel Fuda. I couldn't even think of her name. Rachel Fuda, another follower. I think that Rachel she picked a side because obviously she came in meeting Margaret and Melissa, and they made her pick a side, and she did. I think she chose the wrong side, but I don't really feel like she was really interesting. I will say, if they do bring anyone back, I could see them bringing her back because she could stir up some kind of drama, but I'm not really interested in seeing her. I think that her and her husband were very fugazi, just like Teresa said, and followers. There really wasn't much that stood out to me. Even her little fake pregnancy announcement in this last episode was like, girl, womp, womp, womp. Nothing interesting, just like her nose. Like, just very minuscule. So, Jackie. Now, Jackie got so much flack for whatever happened. Jackie and Teresa were enemies. Now, I will say it was good that Jackie got exposed, just because watching old episodes, she used to just ride so hard for Marge. But Margaret is that type of friend where she's like, you my friend, you need to defend me, you need to do this with me, and she gets you in her dirt. And then she gets dirt on you so that you can't back out of being her friend. And I think that what she did to Jackie is what a lot of her friends are afraid that she will do. Laura was afraid as well, and as you can see, Laura exposed her. Margaret is losing friends, and they're dropping like flies because they see how evil she really is. And they've always known, they're just afraid for her to expose them the way she exposed Jackie. Her and Jackie are both equally as guilty. If anything, I wouldn't be surprised if Margaret encouraged Jackie to talk to Louis' exes. So I'm happy that Teresa didn't fall into that trap of like, oh, now, you know, because they really just wanted Jackie and Teresa to not talk. So I'm happy that Teresa did not fall into that. Like, you know what happened when we weren't friends? I'm sure that Margaret was the seed of it anyway. You always have to attack the root. Whenever someone is like a puppet master, don't attack the puppets. Attack the puppeteer. So it was right for Teresa to have an issue with Margaret directly, which is what Margaret did not want. She wanted it to be on everybody else but her. No, you are the wicked witch and everyone sees you. And I'm happy that she's finally being exposed this season. Jennifer, I love. love. I think that Jennifer is true to herself. I liked her in this whole season, every season. Honestly, she gets the girls riled up. She has her own brain. She's not a follower, and I like that. She never had to kiss Margaret's butt like the rest of those girls. She never had to kiss her butt, and she never did. No matter what information Margaret exposed, as you can see, Margaret exposed her husband's infidelity, Jennifer's husband's infidelity, 2 or 3 seasons ago, and that is why people were afraid of Margaret, because she's gonna expose things about you the best way that she can. Like they said, she has dirt on everybody. She has an arsenal, and she got so mad for people saying she had an arsenal, and this season you get exposed for it. So Jen, I would love to see Jen back next season. I would love to see Teresa. She is the show next season. I would love to see Jackie as well, because I'm happy that Jackie finally broke free from Margaret's grip and is finally forming her own relationships in the group. Hopefully it just wasn't too late for her to do so. Because to be honest, I want to see Teresa back. I want to see Jen back. I want to see Jackie back. I could see Dolores, I guess, just because she, is connected and she'll kind of play both sides. But I don't want to see Jen Fessler back. I think she is a follower. I think that this last episode showed just how afraid of Margaret she is, just like Jackie and everyone else. And maybe Fessler chose Margaret's side in the end because she's afraid, just like Melissa's afraid. They're afraid she's going to expose their tea. So, but she's weak. So I don't really want to see that. But I guess if they brought her back, hopefully she could have more of her own mind. Fuda, whatever. I don't want to see Margaret. I don't want to see Melissa. And I don't want to see Danielle. Those are the people I don't want to see anymore. So this season was okay. I liked some of the drama that happened, but the alliance with Margaret, Melissa, and her little Whoville minions ruined the show to me personally, and this is why they are switching up the cast, because of that alliance. So that's really all I have to say about this last episode of Real Housewives of New Jersey. But hopefully the next season, whatever they do with this reboot, I don't think that they should reboot completely, because I don't think that that's going to do anything. Like, I don't think that's going to help. I think they need some of the powerful players like Teresa still, but to be honest, I think this is just a way for the network to cut some of those salaries. I think really they want to get rid of Teresa without having an issue with her. So they're like, you know what, this show is based really around her. She's the center of it. We might have to shake the cast up to kind of cut her big salary, because Teresa's making big money. She's been on there for so many years. She's making big money. They might want to cut that without having an issue with her, without causing like a big uproar. So that might be one of the main reasons they want to shake up the cast. Hopefully if they do shake up the cast and they don't pick anybody who's currently on the show, hopefully the show doesn't get destroyed like Real Housewives of New York, and we don't even know what's going to happen with Atlanta this season. So we will see. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this cast and this final episode. Should they have done a reunion, or, not? Or should they have just kept this episode? Because it really was pointless to me. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Bye-bye.